Welcome back to NBL now, and you can sense the excitement in my voice because HoopsFest is here, NBL 25 season is here, and I cannot wait. It all kicks off tonight with the championship rematch, Melbourne United versus the Tasmania JackJumpers, and HoopsFest is in Perth, so we're going straight to the source. We're going to the mayor himself, Damian Martin, joining me today. Damo, it's a lovely day, isn't it?
It's absolutely stunning. Don't be fooled. I'm sitting in air conditioning right now. That's my jacket. But whilst I'm here, beautiful, warm weather in Perth, mate, are you sitting in your daughter's room? And there's no way that degree behind your right shoulder is yours. So good on you for promoting your wife's educational prowess. So, yeah, it's good to catch up, mate.
HoopsFest in Perth, it's what it's all been about. We've been gearing towards, yes, it's round one, but it's so much more than that. This is something completely unique to the sport of basketball. In Australia, we're bringing the basketball community together in one place in Perth. The vibe around the place is going to go bonkers from the minute this goes out till the end of the last game, which is Sydney versus Adelaide. There's the WNBL, there's the under-18s. There's so much going on. How are you excited about it?
Oh, mate, I'm absolutely pumped. From the moment they made that announcement in South Perth along the foreshore with the city in the background to a few months later, and now it's upon us. So the natural excitement I get when the WNBL and NBL seasons are about to tip off, combined with the fact that they're all here in town with the under-18 national club champs going on, basketball without borders with some legends of the game coming to town. It's, it's just been an incredible build-up, and I think it's going to live up to all expectations. But if you're a basketball fan, you've got no excuse not to, just get out of the house multiple times a day and go and see athletes at their finest, whether they're juniors aspiring to be the pros or watching Opals and Boomers who are here on our doorstep.
There's a lot of pressure on you this weekend, actually, not just because it's in Perth, but a lot of the media, a lot of the commentary team, everybody's coming across, a lot of fans coming across to see you in the house that you helped build. And I know I need you to take me out for coffee every day, do all of that. But the fact that we are all coming to RAC Arena, there's games at RAC Arena, there's games at HBF Stadium, it's all happening. I can imagine you sit here thinking, man, I wish I was still playing for a round like this in Perth.
Oh, yeah, the build-up, I've never seen anything like it. The amount of NBA scouts, GMs that are in town, the amount of basketball lovers, the amount of proud parents are here. It's just been a wonderful spectacle, and the games haven't even really begun or gone into the major part of the week. So, yeah, there's probably not a day goes by where wish I was young enough, fit enough, strong enough to still be out there. The reality is I'm not too naive. I also know that if I step foot on a basketball court, I'd be absolutely humiliated. So I'm happy to sit back, relax, and just be a basketball fan for the next few days, because if you love this round ball sport, you've got absolutely everything at your doorstep if you're in WA right now.
Can't wait for it all to kick off tonight, as you said, with the championship rematch. And we'll touch a little bit on that. But some news out of Perth a couple of days ago with the extension of the head coach, John Riley. A lot of speculation's been around JR for the last couple of seasons, even though they've progressed each year on where they're trying to get to and what they're trying to achieve. And you go back to even before John Riley, where they missed the playoffs altogether and they make the play-in tournament, then they finish second and lose the semi-finals. So they're building something, and then to lock this in, to have this stability, it's huge for the club.
Yeah, it's massive. If you ask any successful head coach in any code, I dare say not one of them will ever put their hand up and say the best I ever coached was in my first 2 years of being at the helm of that job. I think he's done a great job with the Wildcats. They finished second during the regular season. There's been a complete shift in the style of play, and not many coaches are willing to put their hand up and say, okay, we need to tinker with some things, make some changes. And they did that after they went on a 5-game losing streak. They brought Hiram Harris into the starting 5. Jesse Wagstaff had a couple of DMPs. All of a sudden, he's brought in to help the team. And the rest is history. They bow out in the semi-finals, but I thought they had a great, home and away season. And now to get this extension, that he's going to continue to get better, even though he's already a great coach. So they're going to be a high-scoring team, fast-paced, but he's going to hold players accountable to make sure they still get in the stance, rebound, and get some stops. But they're going to back themselves to average, over 100 points a game. I think would be their goal with the personnel they've gone out and recruited. So it's wonderful for the club. Mark Arena, who's the majority owner now, he's obviously seen enough. Danny Mills has backed in JR after bringing him in initially. So the stability with a great coach makes it a lot easier to keep that core group of players together, because I dare say they thoroughly enjoy playing for him.
On that core group of players, we've seen, you mentioned those little lull spots in the last couple of seasons where JR's had to make some calls and change rotations. One of the main things he's done is really lessen the rotation, playing about 7.5 guys, and things started to really find their feet. They started to figure out how Perth played at their best. He's got depth this year, and he's not afraid to use it. He's shown that in the preseason. How big do you think this rotation is going to be? Are we going to see both Elijah Pepper and Ben Henshall play consistent minutes? Is Michael Harris going to come off the bench and play consistent minutes? Because with the next star, Thano Munzer as well, there's so many options at his disposal.
Yeah, you're spot on. The depth is absolutely incredible, and there's a lot of like-for-like players. Elijah Pepper, with how quick that release is, how strong he is to create a bit of space. You know, he's a knockdown three-point shooter. He's going to be one of the best in the league if given any type of space. Benny Henshall has probably been the best player for them in the preseason. He's been absolutely brilliant when he was over there on the Gold Coast. And then you mentioned Michael Harris, who I'm a big fan of as well. You got Windler, who they've brought in. At the end of the day, this team is still Bryce Cotton's. You know, Webster's going to be carrying the ball the majority of the game. So I think that everybody's going to get an opportunity in the first quarter that plays on the perimeter. And then if it's Michael, if it's Benny, if it's Elijah, whoever it might be, I think that's who JR will roll with in a shortened bench come the second, third, and fourth quarters. But they'll still build this team around Keanu and around Bryce. They're still the studs of it. But I think Benny Henshall's probably got the foot in the door for that starting spot right now, because you can't ignore the performances he's put in so far.
Well, I haven't had a chance to talk to you. You mentioned Bryce Cotton now. It happened a couple of weeks ago. Derek Rucker's top 15 comes out. And again, now you're not a massive social media guy. And I know that you say that because you like to pretend you're a lot older. And actually, to be fair, your Nokia 3315 probably doesn't have Instagram and Twitter on it. So that's no fault of your own. But
snake.
You've got the snake rolling. But were you tempted at all to have a little bit of a laugh? Or what did you think when Bryce Cotton, number 2, and there was a couple of other players around, but what was going through your mind?
Now, I won't speak for Bryce. He's a grown man. He's got his own opinions. I've got to know him a little bit over the last decade. And, you know, when I watched that Michael Jordan 10-part series, and he was up with different reasons to stay motivated, and some of it he just made up, like literally made up that somebody said something. That didn't even happen. This did happen. And so for BC, who's already won 4 MVPs, that could have been more. You know, he hasn't slowed down at all. If anything, his preseason's been absolutely brilliant, better than ever. I'm not saying he's going to use these comments as added motivation. You know, he already is a highly motivated person. But when I saw it, initially I thought, oh, you know, Southeast Melbourne, the first game of the season, they're probably more angry at Derek than I think Bryce is, because that's his first opportunity to go out there during a regular season game and say, hey, you put me at number 2. Now let's make that change effective immediately. So BC doesn't need any extra motivation, but he would have seen it.
I think he would have seen it. I think he would have had a little smile. I know exactly what you're talking about with. Doesn't need it, but he loves to use anything he can, as the great ones do. Now, it all starts tonight, as I said, the championship rematch, Melbourne versus Tasmania. Do you like the idea of kicking the season off with the 2 teams we last saw go head-to-head and one of them became a champion?
Absolutely. I think it's a great initiative. I know no 2 teams are the same year in, year out, but there's a lot of familiar faces on either side of that court that when they walk out, that pain you feel after losing actually stays with you longer than the elation of winning. So Melbourne have had to sit with this for months now, and knowing this is the first game, a revenge game, despite where it's being played, who cares? It's almost worked out even better that it's on neutral ground, because there's no home court advantage. It's going to come down to whoever's the better team on the night. You don't win a championship from it, but it's either going to help kickstart, you know, a back-to-back run for Tassie, or it's going to help heal just a little bit of that pain that the Melbourne United players have felt for so long now.
So other things to watch over the course of round 1, and we spoke about it on NBL overtime, but in particular, Damon and Copes, we're talking about the Brisbane Bullets. One, they're very high on Tyra Harrison and Rocco Zakarsky. Again, they've got the 2 tallest players in the competition, and that's going to be a chess game to watch how Justin Schuller addresses that with some other teams opting to go a little smaller. He also said, Coach Justin Schuller, that it's going to be a failure if they don't make finals. Do you agree?
Oh, look, you've got to have high goals. You know, I think any team that's okay with not making finals, you know, probably has the wrong mindset going into it. So I love that Justin is willing to put it out there verbally. So if he's got that belief in his group, it becomes contagious, so everybody else buys in, and these little things do add up. So I believe that every team, if you don't make the finals, you've got no one else to blame but yourselves, and that's not a performance you should be happy with. So good on Justin for coming out and saying it, but I dare say every single coach believes something similar with their own team.
Now, a lot of games, 5 games, in fact, for NBL action in HoopsFest in round 1. So I've got to ask you, Damo, what do you think is going to be the biggest storyline to come out of round 1? I'll start because the more I've been thinking about it, and with some of the signings that have taken place in recent days, have you heard of the irresistible force paradox?
Please explain it.
An unstoppable force meets an immovable object. And that's going to happen on Sunday when Montrezl Harrell goes at Kelly Leapepe and the world just stops. Everybody just sees 2 absolute monsters either going at it in the post or they get on a break or something like that. And I don't know what would happen. They're the two of the strongest people I've ever seen in my life. Kelly Leapepe cannot be moved, and Montrezl Harrell will do the best he can to possibly move him. And again, that could be just ripple shockwaves through the entire venue at RSC Arena.
I'm not saying that this happened, millions of years ago, and this was the initial Big Bang, and that first was created. But Kelly in particular, I got to see him up close and personal on the Gold Coast. I'm guessing he puts protein powder on his Wheat Bix. I'm guessing he puts it on lunch. I'm guessing he puts it on his dinner. He puts it on his ice cream for dessert. This guy, he poops muscles. He is just a specimen of a human. And you're right, when these 2 guys come face to face, you're looking at 2 of the strongest guys to have ever set foot on the court. Baines is out here with Basketball Without Borders. If Aaron Baines runs into then all of a sudden it would happen. So that's a good headline to have. Mine seems very boring and timid, and you introduced me as the mayor of Perth. I'm far from that, albeit loving it out here in WA's capital city. But I'm going to go with all the other states now fight for HoopsFest to come their way, but Perth locks it in long term. I just think that it's going to be a hugely successful event, and you can't judge it on how many people simply attend the games. Obviously, with the WA government getting behind it financially, they're just going to be seeing how many people have travelled interstate, how many are investing by going down to the Margaret River region, to Busselton, to Bunbury, wherever it may be. And overall, what has the economy looked like pre and post this basketball tournament? I think it's going to be hugely successful financially and going to continue to grow and grow and grow the more the government gets behind it and the NBL can lock it in for 3 years. This baby ain't going anywhere. It's staying out west. Bring on the basketball across a multitude of different ways, whether it's the seniors, the juniors, the Basketball Without Borders, internationals. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That was so mayor-esque that I'm just going to retweet it because that was exactly what I expected to come out of your mouth. Damo, you mentioned everybody is coming to Perth. Some big names as well attached to the NBL. Kenny Smith's going to come down and he's going to pop around a lot of the games, going to do stuff with Next Stars. And Carmelo Anthony's going to be there. Now, I've had a little bit to do with Carmelo over the last couple of days and he's excited about the NBL. And also, I haven't dropped it yet because I'm going to wait for you because it was Rio and it wasn't unfortunately on him where you got the steal. I think that was Kevin Durant, but you had the face-up matchups with guys like Carmelo Anthony on the international level. What's it like to see him now in Australia and I guess glowing about the NBL?
Rio was too soon, mate. I can't believe you're bringing his performance against the Boomers. He's dead to me. You can tell he's dead to me. He'd have no idea who I am. He wouldn't remember we stepped foot on the same court. I still remember I was the hedge guy. I should have gone and closed out hard on him. Instead, he knocked down a wide-open 3. Look, he was simply brilliant. One of the best individual performances I've ever been on a floor with, and unfortunately it was for an opponent. But it's exciting that you got Carmelo, Kenny, you got all these guys. Bobby Jackson's going to be in town. You got all these guys coming in, but Carmelo's that one name that in particular, alongside the whole Spanish national team, that unfortunately there's a bit of a bitter taste when they hear it, but he's one of the all-time greatest players. And for him to be out here promoting the NBL, being an ambassador, going and shaking hands with the Next Stars, giving a bit of guidance, it's a massive coup for the NBL. And I guess I will shake his hand if you're interested. But I know as I'm shaking it, that's that hand that dropped, I think, 8 threes or whatever it was against us at the Rio Olympics.
Damo, we can't wait for it all to kick off tonight. And you pick either Friday morning, Saturday, or Sunday because I'm there the whole time. And feel free to plug the coffee shop, but you're picking me up from my hotel and you're taking me to the coffee because you owe me more than one. That I'm excited for this. This is well overdue.
It is well overdue. I've got a few favourites in the city, so we'll swing by, check it out, and then you can tell me which is number one come Sunday evening.
Love that, Damo. We appreciate your time. And everybody, thank you for listening. It all kicks off tonight. Make sure you check your local guys. HoopsFest is here. NBL 25 is here, and we'll see you soon.